What's up guys, I'm Big Willie. One of the things that I'm most known for on YouTube is making build videos. They've racked up millions of views and they spawned a huge community around making builds and farms in Schedule 1. And today I've asked my viewers to submit their builds to me using Discord. And we're going to grade them using a report card that's based on our favorite dealer and community manager, Leo Rivers. We have 5 categories that we're going to grade them on. Looks, so the aesthetics of the build itself, ergonomics, which is employee pathing and distance, efficiency, so whether or not their ratios are correct, are they using the right additives, effort, which is how hard the build is to actually make, and optimization, which is how much I have to change the build to make it optimal. We got a bunch of different builds that we're going to look at today. I'm also going to be rebuilding them and tweaking them to make them more efficient, so that way the people that submitted the builds, at the end of the day, have a better build to use, and then we're going to grade them together, live on stream. So let's get into it. Alright, our first build is a manor build by Mr. Monkey, and it's shrooms. They have a bunch of drying racks here in the right hand room. We have a bunch of beds. We have 2 brick presses. We have a bunch of beds, a bunch of drying racks. So the first thing we're going to check is the weather, or what's the temp. So all these grow, but we don't have any AC units for the drying racks, which is definitely going to hurt efficiency. For some reason, he blocked this wall off. I don't know why. Now this is very similar to the Shrooms barn. It's just made in the manor. But there's a few tweaks we need to make here. Not having AC cuts the efficiency of the drying racks by 50%. And we need to add PGR. That's right, Claptraps. Okay. Here is the layout. I'll be honest, this AC unit thing, kind of fucking ugly. Alright, if we're keeping it $150. I see the vision. 32 mushroom beds with AC units. And there you go. Updated a little bit. The layouts could probably be more optimized for pathing. Now here is our report card. I mean, looks, I'll give it a B. It's pretty open. I don't think it's that bad. Ergonomics, I'd give it an A. I think using the manor for this build adds a lot of open space. That makes it kind of nice. Efficiency, just off rip, I gotta go C. We had to change quite a lot, just using fertilizer in the original build. What do you guys think? As far as the report card, what do you guys think? You guys are being so harsh. You're saying D. Okay. Run it back. We're changing it. Looks, we'll give a C. It's not symmetrical. I'm giving ergonomics a B. Efficiency, I'm giving a B. At least they have the right ratios, right? It's 32 beds to 32 racks. They just have to add PGR. Effort to make this is an A. This is not very complicated. This is a very straightforward build. And then optimization, we had to change some stuff, but trust me, you guys haven't seen the other builds, so I'm gonna give it a B. So overall grade, this is a B. So you have 4 botanists growing, you have 4 botanists doing drying racks, so not too shabby. Not too shabby. Now our next one, we're going to be going to the Stash and Dash. Now this Stash and Dash setup is a Shrooms build. And I need you guys, is this the one I think it is, Jay? This is by Crink. It's a Shrooms build. And I need you guys to prepare yourself, okay? So you come in, and this is as far as we can go. We can't go in any further. We're blocked. This is a no human build allowed, bro. You can't get in anywhere. You can't, I guess you could climb, like this is how you have to get in. And then you're stuck again. But what I can show you, so you'll see up here, we have 4 mushroom beds, 11 drying racks. So the ratios are off there as well. Now we do have the mushroom spawn station, so that's good. At least on that end. We have 2 botanists and a handler. Now, dude, I just geeked at the part you can't fucking walk in here. So let's pull up the let's pull up the layout. This is the layout. There's a lot to change here. Looks, I give it a C. If you can't get in, we can't see it. Ergonomics, I'll give it a B, but only because he managed to fit everything inside somehow. Efficiency, the ratios are completely off. I gotta give it a C. Effort, I mean, I don't even know where to grade this. Like, it's not difficult to set up. I'm giving effort a B. I feel like it's not gonna be too difficult to set up, but optimization, I gotta give this an F, brother. Because in order to make this, I'm going to have to make an entirely new blueprint. I'm not going to be able to change yours. If we're doing a shroom build, the ratio is one botanist on 8 and you have one on 7. Here's how I would do it. Alright, here's how I would do it. You have your mushroom beds here. They get harvested. They go into this safe. This safe is a supply closet for this botanist. So they'll go from here to all the drying racks. The drying racks go to the brick press. The brick press goes here. And then this safe is a supply closet for these botanists. Cinema. There we are. This one, Green, I appreciate the laugh, brother. And real quick, we're gonna have to take a break from the build reviews to talk about today's sponsor, Fume. Fume has helped immensely with all the cravings I've been having since I started trying to quit. Seriously, nicotine is more addictive than the Big Willy combo, but with the variety of flavors available from Fume, I have hardly noticed. There's no smoke, no additives, no tar, and best of all, no nicotine to get you addicted. I've had an oral fixation for years, and it's made quitting really difficult. But Fume is giving me a safe alternative, and more importantly, something to do with my hands. Science shows that quitting cold turkey is the hardest way to quit nicotine, but the psychological effect of having something to fool around with can reduce your chances of returning to those bad habits. I'm making things better for myself and my health, and you can too. Just head to tryfume.com/BigWilly, scan the QR code on the screen, or order the Journey Pack and enter the code BigWilly at checkout for a free gift. Get rid of all the chemicals and smoke, and take back control of your life with Fume. Now back to the video. So our next build is by Mike Is L. It is a mixing barn. I've never made one of these, but here it is. So it's a double 4 mix, or I guess you could also do a single 8 mix. I've said it forever. 4 mixes are better than 8 mixes. So we have the double 4 mix, and then you have 3 huge storage closets as buffers. So you get your deliveries in. You have handlers that just stock all of these, move it one over, and then eventually move it into here. This is pretty clean. I like it. And if you want to get real fancy, you could even like back a Veeper in here and fill it up. Then we go upstairs. We have our 2 packaging stations to package it all up. There are unpackaged things. You'd put your unmixed product here. You put your ingredients in these storage closets here. It'd get filled up. It'd go down the line. It would come into here, it would get bricked, and it would come into here as a brick. And then you unpackage upstairs in the loft. This is a very, very solid build, Mike. Actually, this might be the first build we've seen where I'm not going to touch anything. I'm gonna pull up your layout now. It's got a lot of huge storage closets, but the barn has a lot of space. So it's a double 4 mix setup. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything I would change about this. I think he knocked this out of the park. Now we gotta give it a grade. Looks, easy A. Ergonomics, easy A. Efficiency, easy A. Effort, I'm gonna give it a B. There's gonna be a lot of handler routes here to set up, moving things between all the closets. There's gonna be a lot of handler routes, and optimization gets an A+. There's not a single thing I would change about this. This is very, very solid. This bungalow was made by Jayhawk, so it's a weed bungalow. And he did the exact same thing I did, which is you just have Albert deliver your seeds, and you have a closet that restocks it up with soil. Like you manually stock the closet with soil, and you just reorder seeds. And this is the build. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 drying racks, 10 pots. The ratios are a little bit off. You need 6 more drying racks. 22 to 10 is the most optimal ratio for weed with no additives. But you do have like a very clean setup here. I like it. What's the heat map look like? Ooh, we're dropping heat a little bit. You'd probably have to add an AC unit like right here. Let me see something. I'm tweaking it live. If you were to add an AC unit, what is it now? There you go. You just have to add another AC unit in it, and that's it. But overall, I mean, this is pretty good. Ratio's a little bit off, but this is solid. This is a good bungalow build. Let's pull up the layout, and this was submitted by Jayhawk. So how do we change this to be more efficient? And now you're set. You should have 22 drying racks. Yep. 10 pots. Yep. Now the ratios are aligned. Now we got to give it the report card, the grading. Looks, I mean, it's pretty bog standard. There's nothing exceptional about the looks, but it's very hard to mess up the looks in a bungalow build. So I'm going to give the looks a B. I'm going to give the ergonomics an A. I don't think the employees are going to get stuck. It flows pretty well. Efficiency, we did have to tweak it a little bit to add in 6 more drying racks. So I got to give it a B there. Effort, I believe this is a back feeding build. It's going to be harder for people to set up than like a traditional, you just assign it here to here. So backfeeding is going to have to be a B, and you do have to supply the soil manually. And then optimization, I'm giving it a B, because again, I did have to tweak a few things. But overall, very, very solid build, Jayhawk. I like it a lot. This next build is a weed sweatshop by Chris. but I looked at this build earlier, and I'm giving you the official Big Willie perfect build stamp of approval. And there is nothing I would change about it. The ratios are perfect. Air pots go into the drying racks. You're back feeding it using this huge storage closet. I mean, you could probably drop one of the AC units if we're being honest. So like you could get rid of these two, and I guarantee you your heat's still gonna be the same. Yeah, but that's it. There's nothing else to change here. You have your locker here. You have these here for a little bit of extra storage. These aren't even integral to the build. This is a beautiful, beautiful sweatshop weed build. And for your report card, looks A. Looks wonderful. Ergonomics, an A. There's not going to be any employee pathing issues. Efficiency, A. The ratios are perfect. It's 1-to-1 air pots to drying racks for weed. That's a perfect efficiency ratio. Effort, an A. This is not a difficult build to set up. We're in the sweatshop. It's 1 employee. And optimization, you get an A+. A++. This is a perfect sweatshop build. I'll show you guys the layout here. I'm actually kind of awestruck. This is a beautiful build. I'm probably going to steal this. Next time I need an early game weed setup. Let's see what we got here, baby. Here we are. Weed Manor by Mercy. It uses the upstairs and the downstairs, and it has a shit ton of huge storage closets in it. I don't know why we... I don't necessarily know why we need so many huge storage closets. There's like 36 of them. This is certainly something. We have a nice little room in here. We have our packaging room in here. We have our drying room in here, which is actually pretty solid. And we have our growing room in here. Now, I see a few problems with it. Primarily, I don't know why we have 36 huge storage closets down on the bottom floor. That one is throwing me for a loop, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, a tiny bit overkill on the decor. But that is the build that Mercy submitted. It is a Weed Manor build. I'm going to pull up the layout. I'm just going to show the second floor because the first floor, you know, not super important. So the ratios aren't that awful. We have a total of 16 drying racks and 24 pots. So the ratios are a bit off. So we're gonna have to tweak some things here. First of all, this, very atrocious. I'm sorry, Mercy. We gotta fix this. But this is how I would do it on the second floor. You have 32 drying racks, you have 32 pots. It's a 1-to-1, you just transfer it over. And then you can also add your brick press, and of course, your huge storage closets for your workers, and your huge storage closet at the end. If you want to have a Walmart back room on your first floor of your manor, and you want to grow everything on the second, this is how I would set it up. Now, chat, we gotta give her a grade. Looks, I gotta go B. It's a little funky looking. Things are a little bit all over the place. I gotta go B. Ergonomics, unfortunately, Mercy, I gotta give you a D. We take a look at these pots right here. These 5 are inevitably gonna have workers getting stuck. So ergonomics, gotta give you a little bit of a lower grade on it. Efficiency, I'll give you a B. You were close. Your ratios were a bit off, but overall they weren't that bad. Effort gets an A. This is not a difficult build to set up at all. You just plop down the plants, you plop down the drying racks, you set it up as a manifold build, not super complicated. In optimization, I gotta give you a C. We did have to change quite a bit on it. So overall grade, I will give you a B. Chat, those are all the builds that I had today to go over with you all, and we're probably going to save the other ones for a different build video if this video goes well. So if you guys liked it, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you type in chat. If you're here right now, make sure you leave a little thumbs up when the video goes live. I appreciate you all, and as always, stay silly, y'all.